What's happening, bass players? Ryan here from BassMatter.com, taking you through the core bass learning program. And in this lesson, we're going to investigate the importance of jamming and how we can make the most of our playtime. Using some of the tools that we've learned in our previous videos, we're going to see if we can hit all of the different practice pillars in one sitting. Let's get to work. Jamming is so important. It's not the first time you've heard me say that in this video series. One of the best things that you can do for your musicianship right away is start jamming, start playing. Now that's really easy. Go turn on the radio and pick up your bass and start playing along. You're going to develop your ear. You're going to listen to what popular or even famous musicians are playing right now and giving you some good ideas for phrasing, ways to articulate your bass lines, way to apply dynamics to your playing, and so much more. So pick up your bass and start playing. Now, in addition to that, the other side to jamming is trying to find out ways to apply things that you've learned along the way. Has that ever happened to you? You've learned something new, but you haven't quite figured out how to fit it into your playing yet. Right? Let's say that you're playing through chord sheets a lot, and you're totally comfortable playing 1 and 5, but for some reason you can play your triads all day long, but you can't seem to comfortably find a way to fit that major or minor third that's appropriate towards the chord through whatever song it is that you're playing. It happens to all of us, and the way that we solve this is by simply jamming more, okay? So we're going to take that same concept of taking the music theory information that we've been working on so far through this video series and using the jam tracks on the website, trying to give those new theory concepts a home and a voice in our actual bass playing. Let's start off with some of the more simple stuff. So the modes on the website, free jam tracks right there. You can go and grab them. Let's go ahead and play to the A Aeolian. So it's still in the key of C. And of course, if the Aeolian conversation isn't making sense to you so far, make sure you go back and review our diatonic order video. And also make sure that you review our modes video to start making sense of these words that we're using out there of 1s and 5s and 7s and which ones are major and minor and which ones are Dorian and which ones are Locrian and those types of things. It really starts bringing a lot of these overall 30,000 foot view musical conversations into focus so you can make the most out of these videos. All right, so we're going to use the A Aeolian, and of course A is also Aeolian 6, and if we assign the note value of A to the number 6, then A is going to be our 6th scale degree. Finishing it off would be, coming after A would be B, then we have a C, and C is going to be our 8 or our tonic, and that means that we are still in the key of C. So let's go ahead and listen to this song here, and what we'll notice is it's a 4-chord song. If I can get it to play, that'd be super. Play. There we go. You have to hit the play button. If we listen to the chord progression here, there's a few different chords. Let's go ahead and give them the appropriate name. So if you want to write this down, that's fine. They'll be up here for you as well. So the chord progression is A minor for 2 bars, A minor again for 1 more bar, okay? Then D minor, then a split measure where we have an F major for 2 beats, and then an E minor for 2 beats, okay? That should be up here on the screen for you to see, but here's what it is. Now a lot of bass players see a chord progression like that, and this is where they start. They go A, D, F, E. Sounds fine. We're playing the root. We're grooving right along through it. It's okay. Now we start wanting to add a bit more flavor to our bass lines, okay? So a lot of us are already familiar and comfortable with adding our appropriate 5 to the actual chord. And of course, in this one, we can add a 5 that's a perfect 5th to all of them. So let's go ahead and play with our 1s and our 5s. So, 1s and 5s work just fine. 1s and 5s definitely a bass player's friend, but a lot of us kind of get stuck in that rut where 5 just starts to sound too much like a DuckTales bass line, right? and we want to start giving a bit more room to our bass lines and a bit more flavor and some sauce, and especially make it more exciting for us because some bass lines can get pretty darn boring out there. So let's not forget to use our chord theory that we've been investigating along the way. We can use our triads, we can use our 4-note chords that have 7s in there. I call them 7 chords. They're not quite, that's not entirely accurate, I know, but I call them 7 chords inappropriately because they have a triad and a 7 on there. And we also have our diminished triads and of course our half diminished and diminished chords. Now, for this particular song, if we have our chords progressions up there of A minor, D minor, F major, and E minor, it's telling us right away what triads to be using. So I can use an A minor triad, then a D minor triad, then I can use a F major triad, and then my E minor triad. Now, I might not actually like how that sounds where it's 1, 3, 5, 3. I might want to actually spice up and jam a bit and go. It starts getting a bit more flavor and some more excitement to it. There's nothing really fancy or exciting, but it's something different for us to try to do on the bass. What you can also start doing is taking more of the modal and 4-note chord theories that we've applied so far to this. So if we take a look at all of our chords here, I've got an A minor 7 chord, right? Then a D minor 7. Then I have my F major 7 and my E minor 7. And all of those should sound fine anywhere along the actual chord progression there. But that gives me some more freedom to be able to start exploring a completely different color tone palette of sounds out there and start exploring how they sound different on bass, okay? The last and final piece is being able to really explore how your modes are going to work here, okay? So now I'm going to try to play partial modes as I'm going through the chord progression here. So a 6 Aeolian, so I have my Aeolian. Then it goes to a D Dorian. Okay, and of course it goes to our F Lydian for a little bit there, and then our E Phrygian for a bit. But with 2 beats there, it's going to be difficult to fit in 8 notes in 2 beats. Some of you awesome players out there can certainly do it, but for now we're trying to keep a simple concept of using our musical theory exercises so far and giving them a place to go. So let's take a look at that again. So I have my A minor, D, then my F and my E. Sorry, can't talk, think, and play bass and breathe at the same time. I got to give something up there. Anyway, so what that allows us to do, guys, is take our jamming concepts to a whole new level. We want to be able to take the theory that we've learned along the way and have a place to start applying it and a place to start exploring these theory concepts. When we start running into chord progressions, we're not going to be stuck in a rut just by playing the root. Also on the jam tracks page above that is going to be the groove series of the tracks. In the groove series, I've got a different array of different jam tracks on it that follow a very specific chord progression. And some of them start to bend the rules of the diatonic order. So using strictly modes and the appropriate chords for all the scale degrees starts to break down, and that starts taking us into chord theory lessons that we're going to start looking at later. But if I take a look at, we'll do the first one here. The first one is in the key of C still, so we have an A minor 7, which is going to be our 6. It's got an F major, which is going to be our 4, and then a C major, which is our 1, and then a C sus chord. And we're going to talk about sus chords and augmented chords later in our longer chord theory conversation. But for a quick and dirty lesson on sus chords, a sus chord is still a 3-note chord that's omitting the 3rd. So it's 1 something and still 5. So if all of our chords are 1, 3, and 5, our sus chords are going to be 1 something and 5. It usually tells you, in this case it says sus 2, so it's going to be 1, 2, 5. It's not uncommon and even regular to see a sus 4 chord out there. And if you just see the word sus and no number, most of the time you supplement the 4 in place of having the blank there. So 1, 4, and 5, okay? Now this one's a great chord progression because we can start having some fun with it. This one's not breaking the diatonic order, so we can still use our modes, but here we go. I have my A minor, and down to my F, and to my C, A again, F major 7 chord, C major 7, lots of different stuff that we can do with those, right? Exploring and developing our music theory ideas out there. Now, this is how you're going to get better at jamming. Of course, play the stuff that you already know, work on your technique, work on your conditioning, work on your ideas for cementing into place what's going to work for phrasing, what's going to work for dynamics, and much, much more. But jamming this method as well is really going to help you take the theory ideas that you developed and apply them to playing that you can use on the stage and during your gigs and in the studio and in the lessons that you're teaching to other students. It's going to really free up a lot of your playing out there. And just because you know how doesn't mean that you always should. And that's part of the artistry inside of you, okay? So even though if you have a great idea and a great tone and a great combination of notes to play, we want to go back to one of the fundamental concepts of being a bass player is what we're playing serving the song, is what we're playing making the song sound better. It's not uncommon for bass players to start learning theory and chords and voicings for them and start overplaying a little bit. So don't worry if you get too excited, people will start helping you calm down. Guys, that's it for this lesson. This is Ryan signing off from BassMatter, taking you to the core bass learning program. Make sure you stay tuned for our next lesson, which is going to be building on this one, exploring linear and non-linear playing, okay? Non-linear playing is going to be not following the chord progression, but still playing the right notes as we start to develop our chops for improvising, okay? It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you stay tuned for that lesson. Lots of great stuff coming your way. I'm sick as a dog doing this lesson right now, so hopefully that's okay for you guys. I'm sorry for my scratchy voice, but not feeling so hot. Excuse me. Make sure you find us online, guys. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and subscribe to this channel. We're going to have a lot of continued great, powerful information for bass players out there to help you grow, help you get better, and much, much more. This is Ryan signing off. We'll see you guys at the next lesson.